What's going on, Jeromes? Firing things up for our weekly Q&A session. A quick one here, and as you're watching this on Saturday morning, enjoying coffee and whatnot, Daddy and some associates are at the Gophers tailgate, having a good time, just winning the day. So if you're there, come say hi. Nick Sorensen. Do you think the regular season success will translate to postseason success for the Vikings, or will it be a one and done? What teams are you scared to face in the playoffs? NFC-wise, not really scared of anyone, especially because think of where this team will be at the end of the season. Like, they're just getting acclimated to the offense. Same thing with the defense. Teams is already there, and I think that they're still gelling. But I think this team is going to hit the crescendo at the right time, and I think that the Vikings are going to be a tough out in the playoffs, especially if things stay according to Hoyle. They keep the 2 seed. Maybe there's a chance that the Eagles could stumble a bit, and the Vikings could potentially take the 1 seed, which would be phenomenal. But now I think that the Vikings will be a tough out. The only team I'm particularly worried about is, I was going to say the Niners, but I'm not scared of Jimmy G at all. But that defense is legit, and everything else is pretty damn legit. The Eagles are the Eagles are that good. Respect. So, is it going to be Vikings at Eagles in Philly, NFC title game, Redux 2.0? Maybe a different outcome this time. Maybe Case Keenum driving down, hitting Kyle Rudolph for the touchdown. Stop the count. Matthew Hurl. What was the biggest hurdle to overcome when deciding to do this work full-time? It's not my full-time gig. It's definitely a fun side hustle, but it's a side hustle that has taken up more and more time. But I think a lot of the reason to keep grinding on this, because I like the routine. I like staying involved with the team news. A couple of pennies never hurt anyone either. Also the Venmo, and also just building up this community, where we see regulars all the time, and it's cool also. Like, I'll be out maybe winning the day, or maybe just running errands, and someone will say, hey, I love the channel. It's like, it's awesome. That's fantastic. And I'm just glad that we can be a part of, first off, we want to thank you. Because time is the most precious resource that we have, and the fact that you're taking some time to consume our content, that's amazing. That's humbling. That's motivating. All those things. Vikings Nation, for your past experience, what's the best first date ideas? I haven't had a first date in a long time, but I've always subscribed to the idea of you should do something physical. And I don't mean like on the first date, but do something active. Like going on a walk, going on a hike. Well, hike might be a bad one. Trying to convince a first date, hey, let's go to this secluded area where there's a wilderness, and like, this is how episodes of Dateline start. Nah, probably not gonna work. But find something like go to Dave & Buster's, or go to like one of those axe throwing places, or go to Top Golf, go curling, hell, go bowling, stuff like that. Where I feel like where there's no down moments, where there's really no spots where things can get awkward, things like that. Where, if you go to dinner and a movie, you're sitting in a theater for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you're sitting at dinner and blah, 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 all that stuff. It's like, you don't really, so first off, a lot of people go dinner and then movie, right? So first date, you pick the person up, and you're just sitting at dinner. It's sort of the awkward feeling out portion. It's like the first round of a boxing or a UFC fight, where it's sort of like, all right, it's sort of gauging distances, seeing this, checking all the things. Like, and then you're sitting in a dark theater for 2 hours, and then it's like, it's time to go home. What have you really accomplished? Not a whole lot, right? Tangent. So I'm a firm believer that it should be movie and then dinner, right? Because so the wife and I do this now, where when we're able to go out. So we got 2 kids, 1 on the way. Go to the movie, because when the movie starts, and when the movie ends, and then you can have your dinner reservation afterwards, right? Whereas if you have dinner, it can be a little bit dicey when that dinner is going to end, especially now. A lot of restaurants, God love them, they're short-staffed, and they're trying their best, and they're just trying to serve their customers. But, sometimes people call in sick. Sometimes they can't find an extra waiter or waitress. Sometimes, the line cook is arrested. Been there. But so it's very dicey. It's like, oh, we're gonna make the movie. I don't know. Oh, we're gonna miss the previews. That's the best part. Blah blah blah. And also afterwards, like, you can talk about the movie. It's always kind of fun. So first day ideas. Just something where you're active, or one of those escape room things. That'd be a lot of fun, man. Because now don't. When people are under stress, that's when you see the real person, right? Stress is like money. It just makes you more of what you already are. So if you're an a-hole and you get stressed, like, that's going to show very quickly. I mean, you're going to get afraid. You're going to start blaming other people. It's like, oh, hey, we can't find the combination because you're not stepping up. All that stuff. I think that will tell you a lot about a person right away. So, yeah, just things like that where you're being active physically, you're being active mentally, and I think that's just a lot more fun than rather just sitting watching a movie. Movie's probably going to be garbage anyway. Who knows, man? Also, I've said this before. Uncle Andy's dating advice, or Uncle Jerome's dating advice. Sure. You should do dinner where you use your hands. Right. So, because people always try to put on a front. Like, people always try to be prim and proper. You know, the guys try not to drink too much. The ladies try not to eat too much because you want to make a good impression, all that stuff. You don't want burp in front of them. You don't want fart in front of them, all that stuff. But baloney. Baloney. Like, I think that people should date for long-term relationships / marriage. That's what I think dating for. Now, of course, there is always room for, I mean, there's friends with benefits, but I feel like let's not even put up a facade. Like, you don't need to date for that because, I mean, everyone's adults is like, hey, if you have an arrangement where you just have these needs taken care of, that's perfectly fine. So let's not put up this whole charade that this is actually a dating thing. So that's just wasting everyone's time, right? So, but if it is dating for long-term relationship / marriage / kids, etc., I mean, you got to be yourself. So I always advocate you got to eat wings, you got to eat ribs, you got to eat. God, what else? You got to eat. So, dirty little secret. As people get older, they generally develop more lactose intolerance. So, get things with lots of cheese, right? And also hang out afterwards just to see the aftermath. That's what you have to do, man. Where a true person is revealed once they're eating wings. Are they just like little nibblers, or God forbid boneless wings, which are chicken nuggets? But are they the type they're just gonna get down on the flat, you rip that bone out and eat it clean? She's a keeper, man. She's a keeper. Put a ring on that thing. Let's go. Where are we at? This is a football show, isn't it? Anyway, Retro Baller 28. What was your favorite childhood memory of your childhood? Could be anything. Favorite memory of childhood? I don't know. Kind of a broad question, but I always enjoyed spending time with my grandpa because he was he wasn't like the fun, hey, happy-go-lucky grandpa, but of course, he had some good times, but he was always the responsible and teaching grandpa. You know what I mean? Right. So if, we went fishing, like he would explain, why you tie this here, why you use the sinker, why you use this, why this is working this time of year, what fish are biting on what. And also he was a contractor and a electrical engineer. So we would do like house projects all the time. That's actually where I learned how to do a lot of DIY stuff, replacing some drywall after I may have run into some drywall, playing and doing some weird stuff, or learning how to wire my house, and just things like that. And just think about problem solving. Where I think like a lot of father-son, a lot of grandfather-son projects are, the dad or grandpa just does it, and the kid holds the flashlight. But no, he even when I was young, like he would like test me. He's like, hey, why are we doing this? Why does this work? Why are we marking this? And I don't know, just those things always stick out because obviously he was a fun grandpa, but I remember doing stuff like that a lot more versus I don't know, just like going to a ball game or going to the circus or state fair or whatever, stuff like that. So I don't know. That stands out. Vikings Nation. How do you rate Shondon Sullivan and Harrison Phillips' season so far? Do you see them staying in purple much longer? Shondon's been okay. He's gotten exposed in coverage a few times. He's been good in sniffing out the run, sniffing out screens. I think that he has been adequate. I think that he's been an upgrade over Mac Alexander last year, which is obvious. I don't know if he's going to be with the team long term. I do think that slot cornerback should be a priority for the Vikings in the offseason, or get Andrew Booth Jr. in the slot. I think he would be dynamite, man. Harrison Phillips, I think Phillips has done really well. Even though he's been playing out of position, I still don't see him as a true nose tackle, but he has been solid against the run. I do like his leadership. I do like the way that he's been involved in the community. So there you go. Nugs. And yeah, Phillips is going to be here. Based on the season so far in the first round of next year's draft, what position do you see them going for? Well, it really depends on what's going to happen with like Dalvin's well, they're not going to take a first-round running back. But what's going to happen with Dalvin's contract? What's going to happen with Danielle Hunter? What's going to happen with Zadarius Smith, whose 3-year deal is basically a 1-year deal? What's going to happen with Harrison? What's going to happen with Kendricks? So it's kind of a unanswerable question at this point. But as of right now, corner or edge rusher, maybe center, depending what happens with Bradbury. Junkbuster, how many years do you think Kirk will be on this team, and do you think Minnesota's his final stop in the NFL? I do think it's going to be his final stop. I don't see him going on a Matt Ryan Colts or Phillip Rivers Colts or whatever tour. I think that Kirk Cousins will be the quarterback of the Vikings for the next 4 years, and then I think that he will call it a career. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but we'll see. Merle Hexam. Since Jared Allen is being inducted into the Vikings Ring of Honor this Sunday, which current Viking would you induct into the Ring of Honor? I think Harrison and Thielen would be the obvious ones. Yeah, I think Harrison, Thielen right now. Maybe Daniil if he sticks around and gets back to form. Hell, if Kirk Cousins wins the Super Bowl here, name the stadium after him. Don't care. Sorry, U.S. Bank. JJ. If you got to play in one NFL game, what team would you play for? What position would you play? How many plays could you last before getting a serious injury? Oh, God. What position would I play? I would play single high free safety. Just keep me away from everyone. What team would I play for? Would I play for the Niners? Yeah. I guess I play for the Niners because they do have one of the better front sevens in the league. They do have one of the best defenses. So maybe the other 10 guys can just step up enough where I'm not exposed. But I feel like, free safety, you're not getting contacted as much as you're giving out the contact. So, I mean, I might last a couple drives before I try to body Mike Evans. And he just destroys me. We'll go from there, man. Bennett Durham Klein, a favorite jiu-jitsu move. So I think since I'm a majority Japanese, I think I have to say Kimura. But also just being a short, stocky guy, triangle is not going to be it. Even though I think I have gotten better. But I do enjoy the Kimura from guard. Also, I like the Kimura from side control. Because overall, I mean, kind of a beefy dude. I do enjoy side control. Just keeping the pressure on, watching the life just drain out of your opponent as they try to get out from underneath. But also, I like Kimura from side control because based on the position of their arm, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of wrist locks. If they bring it in, if they have their arm down, you can go Kimura. Arm straight, you got the arm lock. Arm up, you can go Americana there. But yeah, I think, well, Kimura or Umaplata. Yeah, I mean those are up there. Cypher. What's the best month to have chili and watch football? It's got to be January, right? Because I like the divisional rounds. I love Championship Sunday. I've said before, I think the divisional round is the best weekend for football because you got 4 games. You got the 2 teams that got the 1 seed, and then you've had all the other teams that won a playoff game. So, I mean, you got the creme de la creme. You got 4 games, two a day. Yeah. Plus, I mean, January was chilly. So I've complained about Minnesota winter before, and I know this comment's going to come back and bite me, but I kind of like the cold. I kind of like the cold. I kind of like half seasons. LA is fantastic. Vegas is fantastic. Texas is great, but just give me a little ill in the chill. Also, would you rather trade for Chase Claypool or Brandon Cooks? Claypool. I'll go with youth and size. I mean, Cooks, he's older. I mean, he's been traded 17 times, but yeah, give me youth, size. And also, I think a lot of Claypool's issues is just maturity. And I think getting him in this locker room where you have a Thielen, you have a Jefferson, even though they're more peers rather than but yeah, I do think that Jefferson is rude as like, hey, like I like to have fun, but I'm focused on the game. Everything that Justin Jefferson does is about football, which is what I love. Also, I mean, you want to go the Notre Dame route, you got Harrison Smith. It's like, hey, stop doing stupid stuff. Stop celebrating first downs when we got to clock the football, man. David Brownstein. What happened to B-Rob's 96 questions? I think they just did I think B-Rob was just in town for like a week, and then they did a bunch of canned segments. So I think they probably exhausted that backlog. Reptar. Vikings, do you think there's a player not starting yet who will be by season's end? Asamoah. I think it's going to be really hard to keep Brian Asamoah off the field. Even though Kendricks is still Kendricks and Jordan Hicks has been playing well, I mean, Asamoah is just... I freaking love Asamoah, man. Life. What is one thing you wish you could tell your 25-year-old self? Well, beyond like, hey, pick these stocks and avoid these stocks, I would say you should live more in your 20s because so for a lot of my 20s, it was about the grind. It was about building up businesses. It was about, delaying fun and all that stuff. And I probably did miss out on some really good times and also some things that you can really only do when you're young and when you don't have kids. I'm not saying like I want to go to Burning Man or something like that, but probably just enjoy things more as opposed to always being front sight focused on the future, right? And I'm starting to, at 36, I'm starting to see that a little bit more now, right? Gone for days. Or maybe it's just a midlife crisis. I don't know. It's one of the two things. When are the Wilfs bringing back the gray face mask goat unis? They should. They should, man. Diego said, what makes you salivate more for next season? Kick Kirk off the curb, steal Lamar from the Ravens, win Super Bowls, or make the splashiest trade, trading your future first-round picks to the Bears or Chargers for Fields or Herbert? God, I would trade for Herbert in a second, man. I'm kind of out on Justin Fields. Like I know that he shows his flashes, but I'm out. And Lamar, I mean that would be a lot of fun, but I mean, are mobile quarterbacks really good into their late 20s and 30s? I don't know, but I would move heaven and earth for Herbert. I think Herbert's just the truth, man. Dan Osberg, are the Eagles as good as their record? Yes. I think the Eagles right now, it hurts to say, but they are the best team in the NFC. I think that they're top 3 in the league with the Chiefs and the Bills. I think the Vikings are trending towards giving them a run, but the Eagles are so damn good in the trenches, and they added a Robert Quinn for basically nothing, so they're going to be tough. And Jalen Hurts, the mobile quarterback, is a tough matchup. I think his accuracy has gotten together. They are an extremely good football team and well coached. It's going to be tough. Clint Ressick, will Kirk break 300 yards against the Cardinals? No. I think that Kirk will be efficient. I think he'll throw for like 260, 2 touchdowns, maybe 3. Yeah. Meat sauce. Going to the Commies game next Sunday, I would love to get an autograph. Who do I target? Well, I know that Thielen and Jefferson are out there early every game. I know that they're both pretty good with the crowds. So going out there, and, hey, yell at Thielen, love the shoes, because I'm sure he'll have awesome shoes. Yeah, they'll probably get their attention. Yeah. Almighty UNC, what's some cool stuff to do in Minneapolis? Well, when, like, out-of-town people ask, I would say go along Nicolay Mall. So it's Nicolay Mall's like a half street, a couple blocks away from the stadium. So if you get a hotel down there, there's a lot of good bars, a lot of good restaurants, a lot of good things to do downtown. You can always go see the Cherry and Spoon. That's the thing. Go walk around the lakes. Uptown's a really fun time as well. Yeah, depending on what you want to do, because I mean Minneapolis is like a really good historical town, and also there are some fun things to do. Now, if you want to go to St. Paul, go to Lower Town. Lower Town. I'm a Lower Town guy. Sorry. Go see a Saints game in the summer. Go have some fun. Justin Sutherland's got a new restaurant down there, which is fantastic. God, man. JJ. I think we should get a top cornerback because Cam can be good, but I don't think he can be consistent and plays too soft. I don't agree on the Cam part, but I do agree, like, hey, let's just go all in and get Surtain one time. Or J.C. Horn. Lane Films, do you think Cam is now vindicating his comment, we don't want to go full Rams? It looks like they aren't set up to be successful for at least the next couple years. Yeah, but they got that Super Bowl. I mean, when you go all in and win, no one talks about the other times you go all in and lose. Michael Miller, Stromboli or pizza? Pizza. Like a Stromboli or calzone is fine, except I feel like the best part of the pizza is that balance between crust and cheese and toppings. If you go toppings, where there's just something about a well done like New York style pizza where you got the big slice and then you fold it up, where it's just beautiful, where the crust is crispy, maybe a little bit charred if you got like a wood fire oven, and it's not like overloaded with cheese, so it's not like Wisconsin or Chicago style pizza, but and the sauce, it's tangy, it's sweet, it's fresh, like you can feel and taste like the San Marzano tomatoes, and it's just there's something beautiful about simplicity, right? Because pizza's kind of like football. Like, you can make it as simple or as complicated as you want, and sometimes simplicity is just where it's at. Because, I mean, watching last night, the Ravens running game late in the game against the Bucks. Bucks have one of the better defenses in the league, but just hat on a hat, kick your man's ass, and the running back just reads and reacts. I mean, that's how simple football can be, or it can be the most complicated thing ever. Spider 2X, 9 crosser, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. NFL fans. Do the Packers suck? Yes. Lastly, Tristan D. Very disappointed the Vikings haven't made any trades before the trade deadline yet. It's so frustrating. Well, they traded for Jalen Reagor. All the good teams improved the rooster, and the Vikings are doing nothing. Still got Tuesday. I mean, Sunday to Tuesday is a long time. And touching base, gauging markets, I think Kwesi's doing a good job right now, reportedly. But I do think I think the Vikings make a move. I think the Vikings will make a move before the deadline on Tuesday. And that's it. That's this week's version of the Q&A. Thanks for tossing your questions, both Vikings and life related. I like the life. If you like the life, let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work, put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skull Production Value.